Whenever we talk about which is the most powerful country in the world, without a second thought, one name comes to mind: America. Now, some of you might say that Russia and China are also powerful, but look, these countries are still in the race that America left far behind long ago. The United States has the world's largest economy, with a GDP of more than $20 trillion. It also has the world's largest army, and the biggest global companies like Apple and Microsoft belong to America. The list of such achievements is so long that you'll be convinced that the USA is indeed the most powerful nation on Earth. And all of this has happened in just the past 100 to 150 years. So what exactly happened? How did the country that was once discovered and developed by powerful European nations surpass them all to become the world's strongest power? What did America do that even a country like China, once the world's most powerful, now lags miles behind it? Today, we'll trace the history of the USA to understand how it became such a mighty superpower. Watch this video to the end, because if you don't know your history, how will you understand yourself? If you want to stay warm this winter, try these bomber jackets. They're not only comfortable, but also stylish on you. Don't forget to click Shop Now to check them out. If you look at history, you'll see that power has shifted between different nations and even continents at different times. In ancient times, China, Rome, and India were considered the world's most powerful empires. Until the 1800s, the global economy revolved around India and China. Massive quantities of goods were exported from there to Europe.
But then came the start of the modern world, the age of industrialization in Europe. During this period, whether it was India under Mughal rule, China, or the Middle East ruled by the Ottoman sultans, all these regions gradually lost their dominance. By the end of the Second World War, neither India, China, England, nor France remained supreme. The USA had surpassed them all to become the most powerful country on Earth. Between 1900 and 2000, in just about a century, the US GDP reached nearly 26% of the world's total GDP. So how did this happen? For that, we need to go back in time. Our story begins in 1492. An Italian explorer set out to find India, but instead reached some islands near North America. That's when Europe first discovered America. Before this, people barely knew that America even existed. After this discovery, European nations started colonizing America. The explorer's name was Christopher Columbus. Because he was looking for Indians, he thought he had reached India. That's why he called the local people Red Indians. These Red Indians were actually Native Americans, the original inhabitants of the land, consisting of many different tribes. After Columbus's arrival, more and more Europeans started coming to America and seizing land. By the 1600s, Britain established its first colony in what is now the USA. France soon followed, and Spain focused on South America instead of the North. In a short time, almost the entire North and South American continents were under the control of just 3 small European nations. The Native Americans weren't very powerful or wealthy, and the arrival of Europeans brought deadly diseases like malaria and chickenpox, which wiped out most of their population. Thus, the original population of America was nearly destroyed, and the continent filled with Europeans.
From the 1600s to around 1770, America remained under colonial rule. But in the 1770s, the seeds of revolution were sown. In 1775, the American Revolution began, and by 1783, a new democratic nation had emerged on the world map. At that time, the United States was much smaller. Only 13 colonies on the eastern coast joined together to fight colonial powers. By 1850, these 13 colonies were running the new nation. However, things began to change. When the USA gained independence, nearby regions like British, French, and Spanish colonies wanted to join this new democratic country because it offered more freedom. States like Florida and Ohio eventually joined the USA. In 1836, Texas, which was under Mexico, also joined the US. Although Mexico objected, the US successfully annexed Texas. Gradually, the US expanded from 13 colonies into a massive country of 51 states. It even bought Alaska from Russia in 1867 for just $7.2 million. America knew that larger borders meant greater access to trade, resources, and security. It also took over Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean, and at one point controlled Puerto Rico and the Philippines. But territorial expansion alone didn't make America powerful. Soon after independence, industrialization began, just like in Europe. It started rapidly in the Lehigh Valley region of eastern Pennsylvania, where coal, iron, steel, and textile industries developed. As development spread, with new canals, roads, and dams being built, different industries emerged, pushing the USA ahead in global progress. However, industrialization alone wasn't enough to make a nation a superpower. Its economy needed all sectors to grow. That's why, from the 1860s onward, America also focused on agriculture. New farming tools replaced traditional plows, and large agricultural farms were established instead of small plots. This boosted American agriculture dramatically. By 1900, the USA had become a massive country, the third largest in the world after Russia and Canada. A larger landmass meant more opportunities for economic growth and naturally a higher GDP. On top of that, America had huge reserves of crude oil and minerals, making it self-reliant. Then came the 20th century, the age of global tragedies. 2 world wars and then the long Cold War era changed everything. Here's the interesting part. Both world wars were fought mainly in Europe. France, Germany, the UK, Spain, Austria, and Italy were all fighting like cats and dogs, while the USA watched from a distance, like a monkey watching a fight. America didn't join the war early. Instead, it profited from it by supplying weapons to both sides. As a result, the US emerged as the only country that benefited from the wars instead of suffering losses. During both world wars, the US made huge profits by selling arms to nations like France and Britain. While other countries' economies were devastated, America's economy boomed. During this time, European nations realized their currencies were collapsing, so they started buying US dollars to protect their wealth, as the American economy was booming and stable. This increased the dollar's value. In 1944, just a year before World War II ended, 44 allied nations gathered and decided to link their currencies to the US dollar, which itself was linked to gold. When the war ended in 1945, the US dollar became the world's dominant currency. To prevent another world war, new institutions like the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, were established, with the US emerging as a major power in both. In 1947, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, was founded to promote free trade by reducing trade barriers, later evolving into the World Trade Organization. Free trade benefited the US immensely because of its high-quality products, and soon it became the main economic player in many countries. After World War II, another major event helped the US rise further: the Cold War. The world was divided into 2 blocks, the Soviet Union and the United States. Instead of direct battles, both fought ideological wars: capitalism versus communism. This Cold War lasted until 1990. Both countries engaged in proxy wars, supporting opposing sides in other nations. For example, in Afghanistan, the US funded the Taliban to counter Soviet influence. Similar situations occurred in Vietnam, Brazil, Chile, Argentina, Iran, Congo, and the Dominican Republic. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1990, many nations broke free from Soviet control and became dependent on the US. That's why the US now has over 800 military bases across the world, a legacy of the Cold War era. After the Soviet collapse, only one superpower remained: the United States. Apart from geopolitical reasons, internal factors also made America strong. One major reason was its immigration policy. It attracted global talent. Many brilliant minds settled in the US and contributed to its growth. Examples include Indians like Kalpana Chawla, Sunita Williams, and Satya Nadella, all who achieved great success in America. Albert Einstein, originally from Germany, became world famous in the US.
Elon Musk, born in South Africa, moved to America and became one of the most influential figures in both technology and politics. So friends, this is the story of how America became the most powerful country in the world. It took centuries of effort, strategy, and hard work to reach this point. How did you like this story? Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like and share the video. And for more fascinating historical stories, subscribe to History Connect. Thank you.